Okay, transport truck's back in the shop, and that's good because we were hoping to do this earlier, but V&R was actually using the truck because their main Western Star went down, and it's nice building something really cool and then putting it to practical use too. So problem is, it doesn't have a wet line, and that really limits the loads that V&R can take. And I actually want to do a couple loads, and I need the tilt and load as well. So we're putting a wet line on it. Everything you need to know to put a wet line on a transport truck. Here we go. Our truck originally came with a 10-speed, and Phil said right away, I've got a couple 13 speeds kicking around. I don't think the person who built this in the first place really knew what they were doing. Either way, it's gonna be a lot better than it was. Oh, that's sick. Yeah, we got a transport truck. You can randomly throw a pump on if you find it at the scrapyard. That makes me happy. And I just want to take it across the scale just to see how much this girl weighs. All right, so something a little different. We are in Brantford with the cab over and the GTO. We found a kind of an abandoned warehouse. So we're doing some filming with the GTO here, trying to make a poster of both of them. We got Tukes and Tires, Zach, yeah. Michaela, yeah. And Kenny.
Chilling out?
Yeah, so Kenny, you're gonna do all the...
We're gonna take some pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna park out front. We'll catch that beautiful golden hour as it's coming down, and then we'll shift over into some nighttime light painting and get that truck to really pop with that beautiful paint and those wonderful graphics.
Drove an hour to get here, so it's covered in bugs, and we gotta clean the whole thing, but we'll get there. This is amazing cleaner. Like, look at this. This doesn't, like, you wipe it on.
Yes, it is just washer fluid, but it's amazing.
No, you can't stop now.
I gotta do all of them.
So here we're focusing in on the gas tanks, tires, and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is like another layer. Mix and match and get whatever you need.
I try and run around to fill that in, because that's another spot where you could lose a bit of detail. All of a sudden you have a weird vertical dark line. This is probably going to give you the best idea of our final result.
That looks sick.
Okay, so now it's 10:30, so that's 5.5 hours. It's kind of what's involved in a photo shoot. Really, really excited to see how they turn out. Check out the merch store because they're already there. You can see the finishing shot and what's involved in getting the pictures out the way that they came out. And let us know if you guys want a calendar. We can do more of these and put all of our projects on a calendar just in time for New Year. Kenny, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for getting me out here. This is awesome.
Check out the merch store. Lots of stuff going on there. There we go. So Coop's back. He's done a bunch of these before, and he beat me to the shop. Actually, I was still having supper, and he's already working away. So he's got the housing up, and the housing was from V&R, so of course we didn't get a stud kit for it. And then when I ordered the pump, they wouldn't tell me the pump until I told them what teeth were in the side. They had to count the teeth, because it is important to know how fast your engine's turning and how fast your pump is turning, because you don't want all your hydraulics to go up and down. So you can randomly throw a pump on if you find it at scrapyard. You can tell a good pump by the splines. If the splines overwork quite a bit, you know that she's getting tired. And we went that route. Phil gave me a nice pump, but there was pieces missing of it. So then I decided to go with a new pump, and kind of glad we did, because we sized the pump to the transmission and to the engine, and now we should have a decent hydraulic system. And relief valve is important too, because if you don't have a relief valve on a setup like this, if you don't have your hoses plugged in and somebody turns a pump on, you just shatter a bunch of pieces and oil all over the place. So because it's used, we didn't get a stud kit. Stud kit would put the studs into the housing instead of bolts. Now you got to be careful that we don't run the bolts too deep into the transmission housing and crack it, because some of them go straight through and some of them are capped on the inside. So you gotta be careful that they tighten, but don't go. So I might run to Phil's real quick and see what he's got. I only got 2 gaskets. First thing we're gonna do, take your cover off, we'll drain your oil, take your cover off, and then mount this and check your backlash, which is how much, Coop?
6 to 12 thou.
Okay, so that's between the main drive gear
Yep.
and that. You think we're good with 2 gaskets? I got 1 skinny and 1 thick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull it back down again.
Is it, you need more?
Yeah, I probably do.
Okay, well, actually I'll wait for you and see if we need gaskets, because then Phil's our man, because everything else is closed. Here we go. Nice thing is, like, with the split, the plastic split loom, you're kind of stuck with whatever size that split loom is.
Yeah.
But this you can kind of make a little bigger if you really need to. So it's a lot more universal in the fact that you can make it look really neat. Yeah. Okay, so what we've done is fortunately I had a funeral, so Coop got ahead of me. He's already mounted the drive and the pump. Now the pump just bolts up to the drive and there's no seal or gasket in between. Both are sealed units, but this drive needs to mesh with the gears in the transmission properly. So you need between 5 and 8 thou, Coop?
6 and 12.
6 and 12 thou. So what you do is on the straight cut gear, put a dial indicator as best as you can on as close to a 90-degree to a tooth, and then wiggle that tooth back and forth and make sure that you have between 6 and 12 thou. So if you have more, or if you don't have enough, you add shims, and these are the gaskets and the shims. So we've got a thick one, you can see a thick one, and then we got a thin one. Basically, to start off with, 1 thick, 1 thin is a good way to start. If you've got too much free play, you've got more than 12 thou, you take one of the gaskets away, and then that will bring your drive closer to your gears and get rid of that backlash. Once that's done, we can put our fork back on, which is going to shift this gear and engage the pump when we want it to. Coop's already mounted ran all the lines for the air line in the cab. So we stole air line from somewhere. You can grab it wherever, from the seat, from your axle lock, just tee into it where it's a pressure side. And then all it does is slide the add air pressure to the fork, engage your PTO, and then to turn it off, you take the air away and a spring pushes it back. So now I get the tricky part of mounting the plumbing. So this right here is my tank. Half of that, or probably about a third of that, is my hydraulic tank. You can see my my shut off right here. Put a shut off on it. It is very handy. Sometimes you have to do some plumbing, and when you can't shut off your tank, you got to catch all your oil, and it's a pain in the butt. So we got oil coming out of here. It's going into my pump right here, and then it's coming back out right here. Now that goes straight into my relief valve and then back out again. So we'll grab the relief valve and then we'll go from there. If you don't know how dial indicator works, well, you put this up against the tooth and then this moves. You can spin this to bring it to 0, and then when you move your tooth back and forth, you want it to go between 6 and 12 thou. So you want it to just move back and forth just about that much of play. When things heat up, they expand, so you need that room in between the teeth to have room for the oil to still go in between. If it's too tight, squeeze that oil out, you start burning your teeth, and it's all bad. So this is the relief valve. Probably set it around. You can adjust the pressure by putting more or less tension on a spring that moves the shuttle over. So your oil goes out of your pump and right into the relief valve, and then this line goes right into the trailer, which will feed your trailer oil. Problem is, if you turn the pump on and you do not have your hoses connected to your trailer, or one isn't connected all the way, say you think you popped in your one hose, but it didn't actually connect and it didn't release the ball in the quick connect, your pump is gonna make pressure, it's gotta go somewhere. So what that will do is it'll shuttle this thing over, and then this will go to return. So we'll plumb this so it goes back into the tank. But before we do that, we have a return line that comes out of the trailer as well. So we can just tee into that. So normally this would be closed and then it would go back into the tank. No big deal. We also got a filter. Now you guys can comment whether this is necessary or not. So this will go between the tee and the tank. So all the oil going back into the tank will be filtered, but you run unfiltered oil to your pump. That's a safe way to run your plumbing without cavitating your pump or damaging your pump. If you put the filter before the pump, there's a lot more expensive filters you can get to put in line between the pump and the tank to protect the pump. We're just gonna try and keep as much crap out of the tank as we can. So now, if it was just a generic truck, we'd have two hoses that come out of here, that connect to here somehow, and that we can just plug into the tank. But because we have a nice truck, and I have a problem of doing things too much, I'm laying awake at night going, how am I gonna plumb this in so it looks good and presentable? So I think what I'm gonna do is get rid of this. I had to put this thing on real quick so that we can stand on it and plug in our trailer safely for my drive test. But I think what I'm gonna do is make a mount that's gonna be hidden on top of the drive shaft right here, that I can quick connect everything, my trailer plug, my service line, my brake line, and the hydraulic hoses into the trailer. So we're just gonna have a short little run here so we can still make turns. When we're jackknifing, we probably want to disconnect the hydraulic hoses. They don't need to be running hooked up unless we're using the trailer. And then that will clean this up, and then maybe we'll put a deck plate on this. That being said, we got to use the truck, so I might just run the hoses for now because it works. Tie it to here, get it plumbed, and then this winter build our own deck plate because I got to keep moving, unfortunately. But at least it will be serviceable. And then you're gonna have to do it the same, however way you want it to make it look good. But I know V&R just has their hoses laying on the trailer and then they rub and they scrub, and that's fine for most trucks. But what do you think, Coop? This one? Make it pretty?
Yep.
Gotta make it pretty. My return line is in the front here, but I can make that look good and just snake right here. The filter has to go right here up above the frame. And that right beside the air dryer, that actually looks pretty good. If that drive shaft ever lets go, it's gonna do so much damage. We'll put the T basically directly onto this, no hoses. We'll just put a 90 pipe in there, put the T in there. I have this going right underneath here. And then the hose, both hoses will come out right out of here. One here, the T will be right about here. So I just need to drill some holes into the bottom of this, really, and then mount that. And then the T, we can put some tech clamps on there from Princess Auto. Hold that stiff, even though it's already held stiff with this. Oh, maybe make a little bracket. We'll probably make a little bracket. And then the hoses will run long enough to go to the trailer. And then when we do our deck plate, we can just cut that hose and put another hydraulic coupler down below. Probably wait until V&R has some nice big stainless thing come into the yard to get scrapped. Something from a milk house or a cooler or a restaurant shutting down in Toronto. For the gasket on the shifter, I still really like this spray tack gasket. Put a little bit on both sides and it just makes the gasket sticky. Keeps it in place when you're trying to place it and seals those tiny little imperfections too yet. Nice even coat. Flip it over and you're ready to go. Nice. Even though the oil was in really good shape, we got brand new SAE synthetic 50 oil. So we'll throw that in. Nice, you just got a funnel with a hose from Princess Auto into the side of the transmission. We'll top her up. And I think it takes about 13 liters, plus my case should be about, I imagine 14, 15 liters, 15 quarts to get her full. There we go. Okay, so the bracket is a piece of angle iron I cut with my CNC machine, my cutter and cut stuff. And then that little bracket is going to go into the frame, and then this sticks out over the top like this. And then those fittings will just sneak out over the top of the frame. So we're gonna raise it up just a hair. I need like another 1/8 of an inch, and then we're good. Here we go. And just like that, there's the bracket. So we got the brace, we got a brace this way, we got a brace going on the end. That weld is kind of ugly, but it'll hold. And then we'll splash some paint on it, and then yeah, she's good to go. There we go. On the wet line, couple things to remember. Put oil back in your transmission and then check it. Obviously, check for leaks. And then also don't hook up the air line to your shifter just yet until after you've started the truck and built up the air, because if you hook your valve up backwards, you give it air when the handle is off, and that's bad news. Just in case, it's a nice safety. If you hooked it up wrong, you'll hear the air coming out. If not, you can drive it as is until we get our hoses made. So I'm gonna bring it outside and give her a little bath underneath here. And then this week when the fittings come in at V&R, we'll make the rest of the hoses. Here we go. Okay, so we got everything mounted, almost mounted, the important stuff mounted. And I'll run to V&R and go bug Brent in the hose division there and get all the hoses made. He's gonna love it. He's gonna absolutely love it. I'm gonna make his day. Here we go. We're at V&R, and I just want to take it across the scale just to see how much this girl weighs. So, especially just my front axle, now that we've moved those tanks ahead. So, move the tanks ahead, and I'm at 10,200. I'm allowed 14,000, so 4,000 pounds to spare. That's pretty good. And in total, the truck weighs, oh wow, more than I thought. 19,680 pounds. Interesting. You thought it was Friday and you're like, you know what I could really need is Rich bugging me on all hoses and fittings.
Sure.
How's it going?
Good yourself?
Good. You got some fittings for me?
Yeah.
Hopefully?
What did we need?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I thought you'd have them all in a little box here waiting for me. You're like, all right, let's go.
Didn't you? Come on. There's a reason why I work here, right?
Yeah. Do you?
Otherwise, I'd be a doctor.
It was either V&R and the hoses or a doctor. Yeah.
Guy ended up here.
Nice. Do you have this size thread on this size hose?
No, you know what? I couldn't get them. They don't make them anymore.
They don't make them.
No.
Okay, so I don't like wasting hose. So this has to be like the shortest hose. You can use the cutoff piece that
I was gonna say I had
I already threw out. Even that's too long. Basically, I just need like a slight 45 with it. Yeah. Still low pressure return.
That's that. So I can put that like right.
Yeah, that'll work. Is it gonna? It's too long, bro. I need like half of that. No,
I can't crimp it.
it looks so pretty though. No big loops or hoses dragging anywhere.
No, for sure.
Told you it's Friday. I'm gonna make it an awesome one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're good. Small little miniature hose.
After this, it's just pressure line and the tree.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, so the relief is right there. It goes over to the filter right there. Filter into the tank. Everything looks pretty good. I'm gonna tie those two hoses up, make a nice little bracket that goes to the fuel tank mount, so those will be nice and secure. Now these lines, I think what we're gonna do is take the lines and try to sneak them through the frame here behind the battery box, and then come up here into the trailer, and then hook up to the trailer. Put that we'll put that nice deck on there later, and put a nice angle on it. We'll cut the hoses then, and put quick couplers here, and then quick couplers for everything. So all my hoses and everything will be hidden. But for now, we're just gonna leave them and run them so that we can run the trailer. We're gonna keep moving. And it's Friday afternoon. It's 4:45, and everybody that runs the trucks with the trailers already went home. So I don't want to make these hoses because they're not cheap, and I have them too long or too short. So I'm gonna come back in the morning when they're here and get second opinion on it and make sure that those hoses are the right length. So yeah, we're all set. I'm gonna drop the cab back down again and then go home for the day. Doors are closing. It's time to go. Here we go. All right, next morning, I'm gonna fire up, grab the trailer, but since it's frost out and just around zero, might as well do a cold start, because yeah, that's what the internet is into, I guess. Don't know how she starts in the cold, she's never done it. There we go.
From my winter hell, I've got candles and candles. We are daddy of you. Weep into your prison cell. Hey baby, can you tell? I'm not a criminal. You're just a symbol. I want you to stay true. What's right for you? No matter who, all we know what will others say.
Okay, so all we gotta do left is the line from here to here. We got everything else done. I'm gonna try and sneak it behind the battery box. Hopefully I can do that. And then see if it works. Oh, and then put oil in it, clean the tank, and then see if it works. To here. How long? That's what I'm asking James. 'Cause I'm like, how much extra hose do you need? He's like, I don't think I'm gonna stick it behind the box, and we'll do that later. I'll just lay it on top for now.
I think we only need like 3.
As long as I don't turn.
you need 2 like that long, right? So why don't we put another 3 feet on there and we're good.
You want 3 feet longer than that?
Yeah.
My hand grenades fuse. Baby, don't refuse my truth. But it's up to you not to choose. I want you to stay true. What's right for you? No matter who and no what will ever say. Just find your way and try to stay.
Yeah, actually, that's perfect. No shorter. Okay, so filling the tank. It was clean, but just filled it up a bit, cracked the hose, made sure that the oil was nice and clean coming out. So that, we're good in that aspect. And then the tank is tilted up a bit too, so suction is right about here. So all the crappy oil sits at the bottom. So the issue is that only the return oil is filtered, not the oil going to the pump, because then you need a, if you cavitate, or if you deadhead or cavitate that filter, it'll collapse and destroy the pump and stuff. So it's not worth it in that aspect. So we'll fill this up. Cody's making the hoses, pop the hoses on and see if she does some stuff. And then this time we got some very interesting loads. Here we go.
I want you to stay true. What's right for you? No matter who or when or what will others say. Just find your way and try to stay
Next buy is going to be an electric pump from Princess Auto, I think, because I don't mind pumping. What I do mind is buying a brand new pump and then having it leaking all over the place. It's annoying. This oil and all this stupid pump. If I wanted a leaking pump, I would have just left the old one on there. Good old Princess Auto. Adjustable. Does metric and imperial. Okay, so pull the axles head forward, dump the air,
Yeah, and then tilt.
and then tilt,
Yeah.
and then
When you want to bring it back down,
tilt again.
put it back down,
Yeah.
go back like this, or if you got the tank on it, go up, down, over, air
Oh,
it,
okay.
so you can roll the axles back
Back
without
again.
them grabbing, right?
Oh, okay.
But
all
just
right.
make sure it's like that so it doesn't.
When I'm driving.
Yeah, because it'll keep lifting. It'll overinflate.
Okay. At least sounds like camera, so I can use it. So quick. Think it's on? At least the brakes on. Want to rev it up just a hair? good. Okay, so that's the ending of this video. We've got hydraulics on a truck. We can't do a dump trailer. It's a different pump for a dump trailer. We can, but by the time we do one dump, our oil will be like super hot. So this is made for a lowboy or a landau like this. This is the cat's ass trailer, but it's worth like 120, 150 grand. We'll probably be looking for a lowboy so we can haul the tank around. But I have to get going. So we're not gonna haul anything with this video because this is more of the installation. Stick around for videos when we do pull. We got some cool stuff coming up. And then also check out the F350 because that one's almost done too. So thanks for watching, guys. Did anything wrong, definitely comment down below, anything to watch out for. But as always, thanks for watching. And if you're not filthy, you're not rich, so get out there and work on it. Here we go.